Hello, my name is Eric Alvarez, and today I will be presenting on the John Donovan CPA case. John Donovan is the topic I selected. At the time, was the age of 57, current age of 62. He lives in Westlake Village, California, and that's where his current job position is taking place on. He had two CPA licenses in different jurisdictions, one in California that was issued in July 19, 1995, 96, and a one in Texas that was issued in July 19, 1996. The source for this was, the SEE filing and also his LinkedIn. Background on John Donovan prior to the CPA incident. John, he went to college at a Texas university, the University of Texas in Austin, and he received a bachelor's on business administration, BBA accounting, right? The career progression that he had from this point after his education was working at a audit partner of Arthur Anderson LLP, where he stayed from 1985 to 2002 and became an audit partner later on at EY from May 2002 to December 2004. For these positionings or these places where he worked during this period, in his LinkedIn, he didn't really have a description on what he did, but that's where he worked. We could probably assume that he was just doing some audit compliances, talking with audit clients, trying to figure out what they needed from the audited team in KPMG. The incident summary, uh, John Donovan, he got into legal trouble uh, with KPMG and the SEC because of his unethical conduct as a former partner at KPMG in 2018. He was involved with a cheating dilemma on an internal training exam where he was meant to, take it as a KPMG auditor professional to understand the key accounting and auditing concept and make sure that his knowledge was up to par or up to the standards. He was given the answers it was told by the SEC government filings up to 7 times by another individual, and then he was later passing these exams to his employees or underlings and he did this 3 times in his career in KPMG. Later on, when he got into a investigation by an internal KPMG investigation, he deceived the investigators by giving them misstated misstatements and throwing off the investigation from his tail, further violating the ethical standards of accountants and CPAs. And like I said, this was found in the SEC government filings. And then we go into the incidents further. I believe personally that Donovan creating this breach of professional ethics by sharing internal training test answers with his colleagues and also cheating himself at KPMG is really, really bad, as one puts the company's reputation at risk, puts his own reputation at risk, and possibly clients might not think that, they're safe with KPMG anymore, as might fear that, people like Donovan will, embezzle money, mess with their financial statements, or not, give him the the service that they need, right? And these violations of ethical standards on even internal matters can be very damaging, like I mentioned, all the other options that I said before. And that's why I think his actions were reasonably punished. And then we have the laws that he violated. He violated the PCAOB Rule 3500T, which states, based according to the PCAOB US website, that a registered public accounting or any of the associated persons shall comply with ethics standards as described in the ethic rulings associated with the AICPA Code of Professional Conduct. Rule 102. Right. This is saying that pretty much all the professionals, no matter of what part in the hierarchy they are in a firm, uh, should ensure that all their actions are performed with ethical standards in mind. making sure that they're not cheating, making sure that they are not committing fraud in any form, shape, or way. Um, and that's what one of the laws that was mainly violated here uh, by this partner. Firm policy as an intern in a Big Four, I could see that firms like KPMG, Deloitte, EY, and PwC have fundamental values that are similar, and it is mostly the idea of integrity, honesty, and ethical conduct. Companies like these Big Fours make sure they have a zero tolerance policy against uh, requ like they have a zero tolerance policy. I think I wrote it wrong here, but for cheating in any form of trainings, uh, any required development assessments, and or other, work in the company, they value honesty, right? And then these examinations that where he had the answers and he was providing it to other members fails to comply with these core principles of fundamental values that these firms have. And like I mentioned before, it could hurt a lot of the company's reputation. It could hurt the clients not trusting in the firm anymore, or the public not trusting, hurting the firm public view, making them seem like they have no honesty policies or ethical codes. And it just violates trust overall. And then when we look at the punishment set by the SEC, we can see that the SEE disciplined John Donovan under the PCAOB Rule 3500T because he violated the ethical rules, like I said, that all auditing, accounting, tax professionals should follow. And when they did this, they made sure that, they suspended his license for the CPA for a year, I think, and then he could appeal for it a year after by showing that he actually, performed actions that prove that he was, working to be ethical and showing that development. And he would go through inspections, making sure that all his previous work he did at a, you know, public firm or whatever was up to the standards of the AICPA, the SEE, or whatever it is, and that they preserve integrity, right? And this was all found in the uh, SEE government filings. Like I said, most of my information's from there. Then when we look at the California and Texas jurisdictions where he got also punished, we could see that oh my bad, that in California he really didn't get, uh his license taken away immediately. He was just, suspended for a period of time, given a fine of 1,500 to pay any litigation or investigation fees that may have come from what he did. And he also had, to serve 4 hours of continuing education and ethics to ensure, his ethics was there to be able to apply and to reinstate his license. And this had to be completed within 180 days. Also, this was similar with the case of him taking a CBA approved regulatory review courses. He had to do it in those 180 days just to ensure that, as a requirement, so he could apply for his license again. And then Donovan shall maintain an active license status, right? So he should have kept the, his CPA current, and that's why when you look at the California and Texas, it says that his license expires at 2026. But currently it says that it is inactive or canceled. Maybe he failed to comply with certain stuff that, caused him to get canceled, his license. And then Donovan in California also had to pay for a penalty to the CBA for, the unethical acts he committed of $5,000 in total. And then moving on to Texas, in their website is really not that helpful. They don't have a lot of information about this case. They just said that they suspended his license for discreditable acts, violations of rules of professionalism conduct, and adopted by the board, and conduct indicated lack of fitness to serve to the public as a professional accountant. Shows that he didn't really have the skills that were needed to be a professional in the accounting field, and that's why they removed his license. Uh, yeah, and then like I said, CBA and the Texas BA were the sources, their websites were the sources where I got this information. And then post after the incident, he was a partner at Zerechnik Con Cohen Resnick LLP. It's a firm as well that is not CPA licensed, and it works to provide clients, that advisory and tax services, making sure that, they give the client the information that they need to understand what is the positioning in the current market or industry they are a part of, what they need to survive, what are the business goals and the risks that they may acquire from joining certain industries, blah blah blah. And they are a independent member of Nexia and a leading global network of independent accountants and consulting firms. And then they have after that period of time, which was in 2020, he was later working as independent consultant in June of 2020 to, and that's where he has been presently working, according to his LinkedIn. I don't know if that's current or is he completely retired. I think it might be retired, but not quite sure. It's all a little bit confusing on how he has LinkedIn set up. Um, but this could be because his in the filing it was put in 2020, so they took that away from him of being able to work for the public accountant, and now he has to be an independent consultant. And that was also found in his LinkedIn. So my personal thoughts in this case, we see that, he possibly didn't do this based on his education. That wasn't a big major influence on why he did certain things. I would say it's more about his personal ego and the KPMG or big firm kind of culture. And then that's kind of what I mentioned here as my first assumption is possible pressures from high performance cultures and professional pressures, as he himself has been 22 years in working at KPMG as a partner. He might feel that he doesn't need to take the exam, and he doesn't want to bother himself by taking this exam, and so he just wants to take the easy way out and just cheat, get it over with, and work on other important things. And he probably also thinks, oh, I'm 35 years in this industry, so why should they care? They know that I have the experience, the time, whatever. I'm a cheat. And then also, uh, it could be that he was also influenced by a sense of perfectionism that he might have, right? He might have, uh, thought, okay, I just need perfect scores. I can't deal with my reputation being damaged. So might as well just cheat on the exam and make sure I get a perfect score so I look well and don't have to worry about, you know, any bad reports. And then culture of exam information. As I mentioned, he was given the exam 7 times, so that might have created an idea in his mind that the company's culture was, to make it easy for these examinations, get the answers out there so everyone passes. And, that's why he probably also sent it 3 times to other individuals in the firm. What I learned from the situation is that, even small things like cheating on an internal exam, which is very tempting for anyone, right? Because once you're working in the professional accounting field, you're just like, crap, I need to finish my engagement stuff, and I don't have time to deal with this minor testing things. And you sometimes are tempted to cheat, but this makes me at least know that we need to avoid this te cheating on learnings and stuff at all costs, as it could cost us our license, damage our reputation, and affect the firms and the people that we're working for. And yeah, it also made me learn that the SEC is very serious and they don't take stuff like this lightly. Thank you.